My name is Cameron Gacho, and today I am discussing the identity theory for my group. The identity theory, the main thing about it is that your identity is yours and yours only, while material possessions like your key can be stolen or whatnot. Your identity cannot be stolen. It is yours and only yours, and it's always unique to you. The identity is both complex and simplistic, and it's always changing all the time, depending on your surroundings and what you are influenced by varying degrees. It changes by your family beliefs, your religious beliefs, and your moral beliefs as well. Those are mostly the factors of how your identity changes from time to time. According to Stryker, the originator of the identity theory, is that the various identities that compromise the self exist in a hierarchy of salience. In the hierarchy, there is an identity that is ranked higher than most other identities of the self. This usually will come up in situations that are vastly in different parts of the self. An example like being if you are a family person, that will mostly likely come up into situations when you are and giving advice to another family member, or making fun with another family as well. And sometimes there's an identity from your workplace, like when you're a worker, you can relate your identity to your coworkers as well. Like in those family and worker roles, they can all can be influence you as a person. Your behavior will change depending on what your identity is most superior of. And each of those roles have a different set of expectations that you have to meet. And the concept of identity salience is important to the identity theory, as the bigger the salience is, the more effort we try to put in those roles or identities that we are used to doing. That is my report for today. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kantar Vim Navarro, and today I'm going to discuss to you the social identity theory. Henry Teichwell's greatest contribution of psychology was social identity theory. Social identity is a person's sense of who they are based on the group members. Teichwell's 1979 proposed that the groups of social class, family, football team, etc., which people belong to were an important source of pride and self-esteem. Groups give us a sense of social identity, a sense of belonging to the social world. We divided the world into them and us, based through a process of social categorization. We put people into groups. Henry Teichwell proposed that the stereotyping, putting people into groups and categories, is based on a normal cognitive process. The tendency to group things together. In doing, we tend to exaggerate. First is the difference between the groups. The second is the similarities of things in the same group. This is known as the group of us and out-group of them. The central hypothesis of a social identity theory is that the group members in a group will seek to find negative aspects of an out-group, those enhancing their self-image. Prejudiced views between cultures may result in racism. It is an extreme form of racism may result a genocide, such as occurred in Germany with the Jews and Rwanda between the Hutus and Tutsis, and more recently in a former Yugoslavia between the Bosnians and Serbs, We categorize people in the same way. We see the group to which we belong, the in-group as a different from the others, the out-group and the members of the same group as being more similar than they are. Social categorization is an explanation of prejudice attitudes, them and us, mentally, which lead us in a groups and out-groups. Examples of in-groups and out-groups: Northern Ireland, Catholic and Protestant; Rwanda, Hyrus and Tetsus; Yugoslavia, the Bosnians and Serbs; Germany, Jews and Nazis; Politics, Labour and Conservatives; Football, Liverpool and Man Utd; Gender, male and females; Social class, middle and working class. So that's all for my topic.
Good day to everyone. My name is Alexandro Itaganas III, and this is the continuation of social identity theory. And in my part, I'm about to discuss the stages of social identity theory. Stages of social identity theory. Tajfel and Turner proposed that evaluating others as us or them, example in group and out group, involves three mental processes that occur in a specific order. So these are categorization, identification, and comparison. So first is categorization. Categorization is to categorize. We categorize objects to better understand and identify them. We categorize people, including ourselves, in a similar way to better understand our social environment. Because they are useful, we use social categories such as white, black, Australian, Christian, Muslim, student, and bus driver. So, example, if we can assign people to a category, we can learn more about them. And as we saw with a bus driver, we couldn't function normally without these categories. Example in the context of the bus. Similarly, we learn about ourselves by knowing which categories we fall into. Appropriate behavior is defined by us. Social identification. In this stage, social identification, we adapt the identity of the group to which we have classified ourselves. Example, if you categorize yourself as a student, chances are you will adapt the identity of a student and begin to act in ways that you believe students act and conform to the norms of the group. Your identification with a group will have an emotional significance, and your self-esteem will become inextricably linked with group membership. So the last is social comparison. Once we have classified ourselves as a member of a group and identified with that group, we tend to compare that group to other groups. To maintain our self-esteem, our group must perform well in comparison to other groups. This is important for understanding prejudice because once two groups identify as rivals, they are forced to compete in order for the members to maintain their self-esteem. Competition and hostility between groups are thus the result of competing identities as well as competing for resources. That's all, and thank you everyone.
So good day, sir. I'm Kent Vivillarino, and my topic is all about individual identity or personal identity. So let's begin. So what is individual identity or known as personal identity? So personal identity is the concept you develop about yourself that involves over the course of your life. So this may include aspects of your life that you have no control over, such as where you grow up or the color of your skin, as well as your choices you make in life, such as how you spend your time and what you believe. So example of this is Some of these elements are a choice, and others we are born with or have no control over. Some aspect of our personal identity includes our skin, ethnicity, religion. So, our religion, which is more than likely the same as our parents, also shapes how we see ourselves. So that's all about my topic, and thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Janpil Clamonte. Today I will reporting about online identity. Internet identity, also online identity or internet persona, is a social identity that an internet user establishes in online communities and websites. It can also be considered as an actively constructed presentation of oneself. Although some people choose to use their real names online, some internet users prefer to be anonymous, identifying themselves by means of pseudonyms, which reveal varying amounts of personally identifiable information. An online identity may even be determined by a user's relationship to a certain social group they are a part of online. Some can even be deceptive about their identity. In some online contexts, including internet forums, online chats, and massively multiplayer online role-playing games or MMORPGs, users can represent themselves visually by choosing an avatar, an icon-sized graphic image. Avatars are one way users express their online identity through interaction with other users. An established online identity acquires a reputation which enables other users to decide whether the identity is worthy of trust. Online identities are associated with users through authentication, which typically requires registration and logging in. Some websites also use the user's IP address or tracking cookies to identify users.
Good day everyone, my name is Ian Jean Quizon and my topic is individual versus social identity online. Social identity online or online identity is a social identity that an internet user establishes in online communities and websites. It involves the use of internet usage or social media platforms such as Facebook, Messenger, and Tumblr in order for him or her to socialize online. While personal identity, the term personal identity means different things to different people. Psychologists use it to refer to a person's self-image to one's beliefs about the sort of person's uniqueness and how he or she differs from other persons or other personalities. Individual identity versus social identity online. Your online identity is not the same as your real-world identity because the characteristics you represent online differ from the characteristic you represent in the physical world. Neither one has your full identity, even if they were to put together your partial identities. Some people maintain one or more online identities that are distinct from their real-world selves. Others have a single online self that's more or less the same as the one that they inhabit in the real world. Personal identity is our own identity. It is impacted by a variety of internal and external factors like society, family love, ethnicity, race, culture, location, opportunities, media interests, appearances, self-expression, and life experiences.